Hello everyone, we continue our exploration of the mysterious Forgotten Languages website entered into the Congressional Record in 2024 and its ties to the UFO phenomenon. We enter year 2014 in this episode. The first article related to this topic was published on the 11th of January and was titled Managing Truth Disclosure Impact on Sol 3 Technoscientific Civilization. The Ethics of Silent Invasions. Now, a word related to the impact of disclosure. If UFO insiders are to be believed, most prominently Drs. Hal Puthoff and Eric Davis, who were featured as the lead scientists in the recent documentary movie The Age of Disclosure, there was a massive panel of about 90 people assembled by President George W. Bush in 2004. This group of experts was tasked with the assessment of the impact of disclosure, as in the topic of the article we just mentioned, on humanity, society, economy, all the individual spheres of life. The experts unequivocally concluded that the impact of disclosure of the presence of non-human life on humanity would be negative in very much all areas of our life. From the major upheavals to the economy, religion, to the total societal collapse included. But now let's go back to the topic and see what the English passages of the text from Forgotten Languages say.
A technoscientific civilization claims no particular territory and has no center, but penetrates and connects all capitals and territories. It transcends the nation-state as the unit of historical, political, and sociological analysis, undermines the scary idea of a centralized world government, which flourished in the 1950s, and provides numerous pathways for world governance. Not too many people care about global civilization at this moment. In fact, most people are prepared by their local culture to dismiss a singular civilization or consider it a dangerous thing. Tell the people there is solid evidence of past human-like life in Mars. The impact on their lives will be nil. Did the discovery of the ancient civilization of Ebla modify anything anywhere? No, it didn't.
A note on this. Most people are open to the idea of life being somewhere out there. Quite frankly, we heard the news of possible microbial life existing on Mars just a few years ago. And while it was a sensation by any standards, it did not have any particular impact on our lives as we know them. A revelation of an actual intelligent civilization with unknown internet capacity is a completely different story though. In early 2020s we have heard words from two quite prominent figures. One of them was the late Paul Hellyer, the former Defense Minister of Canada. He came forward with shocking claims that there exists a galactic federation of non-human civilizations, following roughly the idea of Prime Directive of non-interference known from Star Trek. Said federation was allegedly observing the Earth and humanity and would be open to inviting us into the fold once we become mature enough. The same claims were also mentioned by General Haim Eshed, the father of the Israeli Space Force and one of the 24 Israeli generals while he was in the active service. Their words echo in the article in the following passage.
World civilizations cease to exist once they are wired into the global matrix of the galaxy. They become local cultures in a global galactic civilization. For the newcomers, that means they have contributed nothing to that global galactic civilization. So far, and sure Sol 3 will be shocked when it finally be accepted into the Deneb 5 matrix.
The mention of Deneb will be a running theme in our exploration. Contrary to the intuitive conclusion, this is not the star Deneb in the constellation of Cygnus the Swan. This Deneb is likely too large and too hot to host life. However, there is also the star called Deneb Algedi or Delta Capricorni in the constellation of Capricorn. It is the home of one of the alleged non-human civilizations the website mentions in its articles.
Algenib 3 induced the Neolithic Revolution in Sol 3 silently. Is it a model to follow?
Another mention of another star system. This time we see a reference to a potential interference of a civilization living on the third planet in the Algenib system, or in the Gamma Pegasi system, located 470 light-years away from the Earth. The notion of possible interference in our ancient past is a running theme in ufology, just to mention the recently passed titan of such claims, the Swiss alternative researcher Erich von Däniken, and his interpretation of ancient gods being none other than extraterrestrial visitors. The second article we are going to discuss today was published on the 27th of January and was titled The Dalnegorsk Incident and the Quest for Rhenium. Dalnegorsk is a town located in the far east of Russia in the so-called Primorsky Krai, close to the Pacific Ocean and the border with China. While I am personally unaware of any UFO-related incidents happening in or close to this particular town, the notion of rhenium, a heavy metal and a cousin of platinum, is not entirely unheard of in ufology. Alongside uranium, it is rumored to be an element, the ores and mines of which seem to attract an increased number of UFO sightings. So let's see what the article says about the topic.
The semiconducting rhenium disilicide detectors are efficient at wavelengths, which mate with the transmission capabilities of certain optical fibers, thereby enhancing the combination of infrared detectors and optical fiber transmission previously known. The range of electromagnetic radiation sensed by these rhenium disilicide detectors include the infrared range of wavelengths up to 14 microns. A combination of electromagnetic radiation detector and source with electronics can be fabricated on a single chip of an integrated circuit having both electronic data processing and memory and electromagnetic radiation information receiving, processing, or transmitting capability. In that time, the limited wavelengths which could be transmitted through the atmosphere were 1.5 to 1.9, 2.0 to 2.6, 3.4 to 4.2, 4.5 to 5.0, and 8 to 13 microns, which made impossible the correct engaging and downing of any of the Gazelian manned probes, which were at that time operating in the 25-micron wavelength range.
There we have the mention of the mysterious Gazelians, one of the non-human species or races included in the Forgotten Languages mythos. Their probes, possibly sometimes recorded as orbs, were allegedly subject to downing operation, something which has recently come to prominence in the UFO circles. There are rumors of the use of directed energy weapons, EMP pulses, and other advanced weaponry and technology being used to take down UAPs at various locations across the globe. Would Forgotten Languages be aware of such an operation in 2010s, just over a decade ago? It would seem just so, as the reference to downing of a possible UAP or craft is mentioned later in the text, which we will cite in a moment. But before that, let us mention the bibliography. In addition to advanced materials and scientific papers, we have a reference to a Navy subcontractor and involvement of aluminum alloys, as well as a DARPA contract for military space robotics. DARPA is an agency which has long been rumored as one of the US agencies or contractors involved in both reverse engineering of non-human tech and research on weapons and other technologies possibly used with and against the non-human intelligences. We also have a reference to a patent describing materials based on disilicides, as mentioned earlier in the text. Now, on to the final passages.
The harvesting of extraterrestrial material was included as a part of the overall plan for military robotics in space because of the future need for large mass and large structures in space. Hence, it was more than natural to test this capability on a hostile environment, such as the targeted Siberian mining area. A small disk with a dome, 6.2 m in diameter and 3.5 meters high, was found and recovered by the military amid the bushes and rocks near the mountainous ridge. The disk had apparently crash-landed upside down. The color of the hull was dull gray. The object had an open door on its hull.
If you want to learn more about the crash retrieval operations involving non-human craft and tech, you can find more videos about them on my channel, or click the link to a compilation of those which is visible on the screen right now. What are your thoughts, dear viewers? Are we really dealing with at least 3 extraterrestrial species visiting us? Are the points of origin mentioned by Forgotten Languages plausible? And was there a crash retrieval operation in the far east of Russia? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. We will continue our exploration in future videos. They serve as a vehicle for a broader narrative for general UFO lore and knowledge. Thank you very much for watching, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you soon in another video. Take care.